I will never play with a Ouija board again. It looked just like her, said the things that I wanted to hear, but it kept asking me to invite it in. I wanted it to be her so bad. It knew that I wanted it to be her so bad, but it kept growing more and more angry with me, impatient that I would not invite it into the house. Welcome back to Paranormal is My Normal. It is spooky season. These are fan-submitted ghost stories, and this one comes from Brian. Viewer discretion is advised. Brian writes in, I was broken. I was in a dark place, looking for answers or closure, some sort of reason of why she decided to self-delete. We had been high school sweethearts who had been in on-again, off-again, very toxic relationships. But this time it finally felt like something was happening. It felt like maybe this would be the time that worked. But clearly it wasn't. She had mental illness and she struggled with it her entire life. I guess all the years of abuse and trauma from everything in her life finally caught up with her. Both of us had struggled with substance abuse our entire life. But she got involved with some things and some people she shouldn't have and chose to get herself out of that situation. I was broken. I wanted some sort of answer. I dived into a very deep depression. In that depression, I started researching the occult. I wanted a way to talk to her again. I wanted a way to see her again. I began learning about spirit boards and how to communicate with the other side, black mirrors, and how I could talk to her. One night in a drunken stupor, I decided that I knew enough, and I made my own Ouija board right there on the apartment floor. Called her name, lit some candles, did whatever it told me to do. And that's when I saw her. She appeared outside the door. I was filled with joy. I wanted to see her. I wanted to hold her. I wanted to embrace her, but something was off. Something was different in her eyes. Something was different in her tone. She grew so angry with me, demanding that I invite her in, demanding that she could come inside. The apparition grew angry with me and tormented me all night, standing there in the doorway, knowing that it could not pass, saying horrible things to me, things that she would have never said to me, but pulling on every bit of my emotion. It begged me to let it in. It begged me to invite it in. We could be together, it said. We could be together forever. It grew angrier and angrier with me, tormenting me with its every single word. Don't you love me? You said you'd love me. Sitting with my back against the door as if to hold the door shut, drenched in sweat, crying, listening to this thing all night berate me of how it was my fault, how I am the reason she left. Screamed at the top of my lungs, calling her name. If you ever loved me, please save me from whatever this is. And a white, piercing light entered into my apartment, and the apparition was gone. A bright, warm, calming, cool mist entered the room, extinguishing the candles and turning the Ouija board over. I'd like to believe it was her, telling me and reassuring me that she did love me and that it was all going to be okay. Brian continues to go on in his story and says that was the night he decided to get his life back in order. He went into a treatment facility, has never had any other paranormal experiences, but he needed that one. He needed that one to put him on the right path. Have you ever messed with a Ouija board or a spirit board? Or, like Brian, do you not meddle in things that you should not be meddling in? If you are enjoying these paranormal stories, please share them with your friends. If you have a paranormal story you'd like to share with us, please tell us down here in the comments or send me a message. Live your nightmares. Merch link in bio.